Hi, this is the Edinburgh Jewish Cultural Centre podcast. It's December 2024 and we're celebrating Chanukah, the Jewish festival of lights. In this edition, Lambert and Hannah Handelman demonstrate how to make potato latkes, one of the traditional foods eaten during the festival.
Hi everyone, this is the Latke cook-off. We're in our home kitchens across the world. Hannah Handelman on the east coast of the US. I am in cheery London, England, United Kingdom. We're doing very different recipes today. Hannah has a family one / others that she's referring to that she'll tell you about in a bit. I don't have a family one. I just go with whatever looks best that year. And today, serendipitously, the New York Times came up with a very nice looking recipe. And so my potatoes and onions are more coarsely grated as opposed to being very small and fine, I guess. You'll be seeing clips throughout this process, but yeah, I'm very excited to win this competition. Hannah, over to you.
Yeah, so like Ella said, I'm definitely going to win this competition, and I am coming to you live from America. This is a combination of the all recipes recipe and my family recipe, because my family recipe was written lovingly by my grandma, whose handwriting is notably impossible to read. So just to make sure that I'm on the right vicinity, I'm gonna use the double recipe combination here.
Are you getting your mise en place, Hannah?
Am I
getting your mise en place, your like things in place? That's what chefs say.
But I wouldn't say I'm a chef. I'm probably the messiest, will create as many problems as really possible during the cooking process, and then we'll just deal with the cleaning at the end.
Okay, start the oil. I've wrung out my potatoes and my onions. So we grated them coarsely, and then I put them in a towel and I wrung them out until I got as much liquid out of them as possible. In my opinion, if they're still a little liquidy, I don't really mind. I don't need them to be extremely crisp.
I agree. Well, how many potatoes to onion ratio do you have?
The recipe called for 2 large potatoes, but I think it was like an American recipe, and the potatoes are always twice the size there than they are here. So I did 4, and I did 1 full onion, which it also called for.
Mine had 3 large potatoes, and I am in America, and I was horrified when I went to the shops today. Only 2 tablespoons of onion in the recipe I was going to use, where I feel like in my home recipe that's simply too little. So
someone must not like onion, whoever wrote that recipe. Yeah. And I don't really blame them, because I think it's easy to have it overpower the flavor.
You're doing that with the spoon. I am doing this with my hands. The secret ingredient in my grandma's recipe, notably, is blood from when you are inevitably grating the potatoes and onions and you cut yourself because you're grating it too close. So,
well, I didn't actually read that closely to see if it told me to mix with my hands, but I've just started it with a fork.
My grandma, to my knowledge, adds a tiny bit of this Lowry's seasoned salt. It's a bit of a thickener. It has some cornstarch in there. So I'm just going to add a little sprinkle of this.
Sounds awesome. I feel like there's a lot of flour in mine. There's half a cup. So.
Oh, right. If anyone that's listening is not Jewish, the reason that we eat such oily foods on Chanukah, and or if you are Jewish and you just don't know the story of Chanukah, we eat oily foods because there was supposed to be only 1 night's worth of oil in the temple when it was destroyed, and the 1 night's worth of oil ended up lasting for 8 nights. So we eat a lot of oily foods. Latkes is the traditional food, and I would also say sufganiot are the other traditional food, which are essentially jelly stuffed donuts. I'm actually making latkes with the rest of my family this weekend, even though we're filming this a little bit before Hanukkah, and we always eat latkes alongside beef short ribs, and I'm not really sure why we do that. I guess it's kind of difficult to decide what main to have with something as heavy as latkes can be. My oil is getting hot.
Okay, my oil is also hot, so I'm gonna start going. I'm gonna work quickly, folks, and you're gonna see that, okay? So I'm whipping out a spoon. This is not very exact. In fact, I like them to look more misshapen and like slightly different sizes. I think that looks fun. So it's very heaping, my tablespoon.
I'm going to do it with my hands.
You got a sizzle?
I have a big sizzle.
I've got a bigger sizzle.
In my family, the latke chef is always the man of the house. But it was definitely always my grandpa, and it's my dad's one holiday job. What people in the viewers will notice that you luckily haven't noticed because you've also been cooking is that I am just touching these with my finger while they are in boiling hot oil. Don't do that at home. What is your go-to latke topping?
Oh, sour cream and applesauce. Also, what you'll notice I'm doing is I'm salting them when they come off of the heat because they're still going to be a bit moist from the oil, and so they'll hang on to it a little better.
Delicious. That is my gorgeous latkes finished.
Wow.
We'll break one of the first ones, just see. Oh, that looks
Yummy.
definitely delicious. The extra onion was absolutely necessary.
Sour cream.
Your latkes do look very different to mine.
Yes. There
That
it
is
is.
crispy, thin. Mine is a little hockey puck-esque.
What other Hanukkah traditions do you have, Hannah?
We used to decorate my whole house decked out from top to bottom the way that people do for Christmas, but with blue garland and silver garland and it had little dreidels on it. And we had little fairy lights in the shape of dreidels and teddy bears holding snowflakes and dreidels and all of that.
We had some twinkle lights that were in the shape of dreidels, I think, and obviously we had menorahs.
I am looking at some of the Hanukkah presents that are wrapped around my house right now that we're getting ready to give each other. And my mom does always go out of her way to find special Hanukkah wrapping paper, which I do think is fun.
If we have any non-Jewish listeners, what you might do on Christmas is like you gather around as a family, but for us it's 8 nights in a row instead of one big morning. And yeah, I don't know if this is what everyone does, but we would do one gift a night as kids. So one of the gifts would be very small and it'd be like, this size, and you knew it was probably a gift card or two. And so you had to decide, like, am I going to open that one at the beginning, or am I not going to save the big ones to the end and just like open those first?
It's certainly been a less traditional Hanukkah in uni, and none of my flatmates have ever been Jewish, but it's been fun for me to make latkes for all of us and have dinner and introduce them to what Chanukah is all about and like the candles and everything, which I will be doing again this year.
Last year with my flatmates made latkes the same way as we did tonight. And actually one of my Jewish friends from Chicago was visiting me because she was spending that year in Sweden. So she hopped on over to Edinburgh, where I was at the time, and we made latkes. And yeah, it's nice to share bit by bit, latkes are an easy way, I guess, to explain to your friends, like an aspect of Jewish history. Everyone connects over food and eating, to be fair. So, yeah.
Food, eating, and fried potatoes. How can you really go wrong?
You have been listening to the Edinburgh Jewish Cultural Centre podcast, presented by Lambert and Hannah Handelman, with music by Phil Alexander.